Thanks for tuning in to the Vintage Cinema Review. On today's episode, we're covering a special edition from 1987, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. This is a story of ups and downs, peaks and valleys, family and friendship.
Yeah, shout out to Zap for mentioning this one. I didn't even think of doing this for a Vintage Cinema Review, but great movie, good time.
Yeah, definitely enjoyed this. Speaking of which, if you're enjoying the podcast, hit that 5-star rating on Spotify, on Apple. You can leave a 5-star rating and a written review, and sit back, relax, and enjoy Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Hey, this is Dave.
Matt.
And Zap.
And welcome to the Vintage Cinema Review,
where every week we review some of our favorite films from the past.
Hey, there ain't no late fees here.
Silence is golden. And be kind. Rewind.
Good evening, gentlemen.
What's going on?
Hey, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
we got something up Thanksgiving alleyway today.
We sure do.
What's in the oven today?
Got a special dish just for our fans.
Get it, dish, Thanksgiving, dish.
Right.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah, this is Zap's pick.
Automobile?
That's the movie. We're not talking about how you travel during Thanksgiving.
Nope.
No.
It's an actual movie.
Right.
Although this movie did go on to be, and still to this day is, a Thanksgiving tradition for many.
Yes.
Yeah, I thank you, Zap, for pointing this one out. I haven't seen this movie since back then, and I didn't remember any of it. I didn't even know it was a Thanksgiving movie. I don't know if I'm missing out on something. Matt saying how it's on TV all the time.
Yeah, TBS carries it like it's a Christmas Story, or what's the other one? Home Alone. It's kind of like that. They run it.
I guess I'm probably because I'm watching football all day on Thanksgiving Day. I probably miss out on it, but I was pleasantly surprised to watch it. I'm like, what a great movie, and I totally forgot about. I should say I forgot about it. I'm aware of the movie. I just didn't know any storyline or anything.
With John Hughes, what can't he do?
Yep, and my wife the same way. Huge John Candy fan. Never saw this.
Yeah, well, let's get into it, shall we?
Yeah, so Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. 1987 this came out, and this was an hour and 45 minutes. Rated R.
Yeah.
Which we'll find out why.
Oh, yeah.
Release date on this, November 25th, 1987, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
How about?
Yeah. Directed, written, and produced by John Hughes.
80s, the man who made the 80s.
Yeah, once again, he pops up. Budget on this movie, $15 million. Box office, $49.5 million.
Nice.
Yeah.
Juice was worth the squeeze on that.
For sure. And it says that over the first through the first weekend, it grossed over $7 million. So that was a quick $7 million to make.
Heck yeah.
Made almost half your money back. Filming began on this February of 87 and lasted 85 days in Batavia. In Batavia, New York, and South Dayton, New York. There's a scene that takes place in St. Louis. That was filmed at the Lambert International Airport. And there was also a scene in Braidwood, Illinois at the Sun Motel. There was a lot of footage that was cut out of this movie. There's actually
So it was a 4-hour movie, something crazy like
over
that.
Almost three. Yeah. But they cut a lot out.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it for the budget, filming locations and all that. So I'll turn it over to Zap for the cast.
That's what they used to say before they drank in the movie. They said Batavia.
Yeah.
I'm curious now, is it Batavia or Batavia? Either one. We're sorry, New York. We're not from Batavia, Batavia.
Not from either one, yeah. I haven't seen any downloads there, so.
You got to be upstate New York. That doesn't sound like towards the city, Jersey area.
Sounds like a drug. Like they have a commercial for.
Batavia.
Yeah. Side effects may include.
Gaining weight.
Nausea, burning heart, diarrhea, weight gain.
That.
All right, the cast on this, John. We've got Steve Martin as Neil Page, John Candy as Dale Griffith, Lila Robbins as Susan Page, Olivia Burnett as Marty Page, Matthew Lawrence as Neil Page Jr., Edie McClurg as a car rental agent, Ben Stein as a Wichita airport representative, Dylan Baker as Owen, Luli Newcomb as Owen's wife, Charles Tyner as Gus Mooney, Michael McKean as a state trooper, Gary Riley as the thief who robs Neil and Dell while they're sleeping, and Kevin Bacon as the man racing Neil to a taxi.
Kevin Bacon again.
Now, there's two in there that I included that in the version available did not have speaking roles.
Oh, Kevin Bacon.
Again, they filmed 3 hours and change on this.
Mm-hmm.
What we saw were
Cuts of it.
were ultimately cuts, but these guys were included in the top billing.
Right.
So maybe at some point they did have speaking roles.
Could have been. Yeah, that's a lot of extra film.
Kevin Bacon may have been in this twice.
Mm-hmm.
May have.
Could have been.
Ooh, foreshadow.
Yeah, somewhat kind of.
Right. So I guess that's it for the cast. So we'll turn it over to Matt for the brief synopsis.
Yes, we have a brief synopsis of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Easily excitable Neil Page, Steve Martin, is somewhat of a control freak, trying to get home to Chicago to spend Thanksgiving with his wife, Lila Robbins, and kids. His flight is rerouted to a distant city in Kansas because of a freak snowstorm, and his sanity begins to fray. Worse yet, he is forced to bunk up with talkative Dale Griffith, John Candy, whom he finds extremely annoying. Together they must overcome the insanity of holiday travel to reach their intended destination through planes, trains, or automobiles.
Nice. Well done.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's it in an eggshell.
That is.
That's the movie. Thanks, guys. That was
Happy
that was
Thanksgiving.
great. Happy
everybody.
Thanksgiving. We love you all.
Yeah. So I guess now we'll walk through this movie.
Yeah, let's walk it through and let's do this together. Man, this is a family affair. We're going to go through this together.
Voltron.
That's right. Coming together like Voltron.
Yeah.
Legs and arms.
So it's New York City, and we're just 2 days away from Thanksgiving. Neil Page, an advertising executive, needs to get home to Chicago.
However, would you get there?
I don't know, but
You could. There's no walking involved.
Yeah. How long would a car ride be from there?
from New York to Chicago?
Yeah, straight through.
Give me a second. I know from here to Chicago, it's like 8 hours.
It's 8 hours, yeah.
So probably similar. Maybe a little
ish,
longer.
A little longer, yeah.
10 hours.
Could have done it. I don't know, but I know this guy got stuck in the beginning at the longest client meeting ever.
Yeah, I was tripping out in the very beginning. I always like to catch little cool things, and I was checking out his watch.
Yep.
And I don't know how we're going to pronounce this, much like Batavia or whatever, New York, but Piaget.
Piaget.
Piaget, we'll say.
Piaget.
Yeah, Polo. Piaget.
Zab had it playing like 4 times.
Yeah.
Piaget.
Piaget.
Polo watch. So that's like a luxury brand watch.
Sure.
And if you look it up online now, that watch that Steve Martin's wearing in the meeting in the very beginning, it's around $8,000 online right now. Like a used one. Their newer watches are upwards of $30,000.
$30,000. So this was 1980, what? Seven.
Mm-hmm.
So this dude's like mad business.
Yeah, I guess it
Sure.
just goes to show you're making, some money. Yeah.
That's probably like a $20,000 watch then. Saying brand
back
new.
then, I don't know. Like, I
'Cause
wonder
things
if
like
it
that-
actually went up in value.
That automatic movement stuff back then was pretty hard to get. It's
No.
expensive.
I mean, I got a guy that's in the biz. He buys and sells, watches.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to ask him next time I see him about Piaget.
Piaget, if you even wear it.
Does he have a Rolex Milgauss for sale?
I could ask.
Ask.
And if he doesn't have one, he'll find it.
See what he can do.
Most of his stuff, he acts as a broker.
Do either of you have like a baller watch like that?
No.
I have 2 tags.
Yeah, tags they're nice, but I'm talking about
They're not baller.
Yeah,
no.
like
No.
ones that are like crazy.
I got a couple of Fossil watches.
Yeah.
I
had
got
a couple of
a-
them. They have a store down in Lancaster.
Yeah.
Fossil.
I was been into watches, but yeah, like a baller's a little out of my
Right.
my pay range.
Yeah, no, me neither.
You can get really nice like fake Rolexes
Yeah, up in New York.
up in New
Speaking of
York.
which.
Yeah,
That's right.
they're called clean. If anybody's in the business, you can find one clean. It's pretty spot on.
That's the
Interesting.
brand.
No, they make the Rolex, but it's a company in Japan.
Oh, how
So it
about
has
that?
Japan movement, but they put Swiss movement on it. You really can't tell the difference. The jewels in the back, you can't tell unless you open them up. But like the whole thing, like face to face, they're spot on.
Interesting.
You're talking like $10,000-$15,000 to like $1,200.
So meanwhile, back in our movie with his watch on, I mean, dude's got to get to the airport, right?
Right.
His flight leaves at 6. So this poor guy's got to find himself a cab in rush hour traffic. What do we see? Him racing, of all people, Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, there he is again.
Doesn't say a word, but these two dudes are running and running and running.
Yeah, they're eyeing each other up. They're like, I'm getting there before you, buddy.
Yep. They don't get there. Unfortunately for Neil, he trips over this dude's trunk, just covered in stickers.
Who could it be?
I wonder.
Reminded me of OJ running through the airport.
Yeah.
They got, when they're racing and stuff.
Or running through or running from the cops.
Running through Brentwood.
Running through Brentwood.
Yeah.
With gloves on.
It wasn't him, man.
No.
Thought I caught you in. Brentwood. Wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
Oh, God. So he didn't get that cab. Kevin got that cab, so he sees another one. In fact, this guy, this wealthy, apparently some wealthy businessman or somebody.
Yeah, your typical 80s business villain, that guy.
That's right. He ends up having to bribe him $75 for the cab. It starts at, what, 25?
Something like that, yeah.
And then it just keeps upping and upping. And
Right.
the guy says, all right, fine, 75 or some shit.
What are those coats called?
Trench coat.
Yeah, but like isn't there a name
it's
for like the wool?
Burberry or whatever.
Is that like a Burberry?
So that's a brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like that's just a regular like gray trench or okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are sharp.
Yeah, I want one of them in the worst way.
Shit, yeah.
Those are very businessy.
Amazingly enough, poor Neil doesn't get this cab either. While he's arguing and fighting with the guy to pay him $75, somebody swipes his cab. And what's in the back of that cab? The same trunk that he had tripped over.
Yeah, that dumb trunk.
Oh, well. Neil makes his way to the airport, right? And who is he sitting across from? The guy that owns that goddamn trunk.
Trunk man.
It is, in fact, Dale Griffith, shower curtain ring salesman extraordinaire, and an overly talkative fellow. I mean, do you guys ever run into that? Like if you're sitting in an airport just,
like, hey,
or train station, it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, leave me alone.
I'm not your friend.
Right.
I just want to listen to my music and
I don't
get
care
on
about,
my
I don't care about your kids. I don't care about your job. I don't care anything about you. I don't know you. Don't talk to me.
I was just thinking about this guy's line of work. He's a salesman, so he loves to talk. So I'm sure that's just his personality because salesmen are usually good talkers. They
You'd
can
think.
talk to anybody and, so it makes sense that he'd be like that.
Yeah, it took a go ahead.
I'm sorry, but Steve Martin works in marketing, I'm assuming, right? Is that what they that's what I would assume from what he was doing there.
advertising, sure,
Advertising,
absolutely.
marketing and
Yep.
stuff. I would think for that line of work, you have to be a talker like that, but maybe not as much as sales. I don't know. I'm not in that world. So I don't know if those personalities differ. Actually, I was talking to that about a guy when my son wants to go into business, and Zach, we talked to you too.
Yep.
Based on your personality, like my son's more of an introvert, quiet. Like he might be better suited for, like we were talking about the guy, actually, Mike, shout out to Mike if he's listening.
Thanks, Mike.
Supply chain logistics.
Sure.
He said it's something where basically you don't really have to have much interaction. You're not like, you are in sales or any of this other stuff where you have to be constantly.
You'd have to be a people person.
Right.
Right.
So
Behind the scenes.
right. So with this guy's personality, I could see that he's probably a good talker. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But I was just on a train a couple months ago, so I had to go into Baltimore for a conference, and I was coming home and ran into people that I knew from the conference, so they were sitting by me on the train, and that's what they were just like talking while I was like sitting there with my
Earbuds in,
just like with eyes closed, and it just kept on, and then it got to the point where they were tapping me on the shoulder.
Man.
So when the train, it kind of like went to like another stop, so I got up and moved.
And got back on the train?
No, I got up and just moved a couple seats down.
That's hilarious.
Because I didn't know these people from whatever. I met
That's
them
even
for
worse.
4 days,
That's just, they can still see you.
Yeah, I know. They looked right at me.
God damn.
But then this older lady sat next to me, and it was nice. She was quiet. Just
Aw.
did her thing.
I don't wanna
It's
talk
nice
to
when they're
people.
quiet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I know what
beautiful.
you mean.
Well, unfortunately for this guy, he just can't get away from Dell. He had apparently he had booked a seat in first class. That was overbooked. So he ends up having to sit next to this guy.
He was not happy either about the first class, man.
Oh my God, no.
No, who was that dude that was like good looking dude? And she's like, oh yeah, go ahead. Was he like another pilot or something?
Yeah, he was a pilot.
like cutting by.
Was he? I thought it was just a common...
Did he have like a...
I thought he had like the stuff on
The
his
stuff on his
lapels and
thing.
stuff. Maybe
Okay.
not though, but I was just like, what? Like
I thought he might have been maybe a
Unless he was a
frequent flyer.
yacht captain. Or something.
maybe he could have been the captain or something. But she was like, oh, like it was funny. Like,
Like, hey,
hey, go ahead, you go through.
go.
He's a good looking guy. You know what I mean? He was that prototypical 80s good looking guy.
Yeah, but
Yuppie.
Steve Martin was a good-looking yuppie guy. Older good-looking yuppie guy.
Right,
but
right.
He had money, though.
That's
and a
it.
first-class ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which they did not accept.
No.
You don't do that.
He got the deny.
I'd be pissed too.
Because back then too, I think a first class ticket was like $10,000 or something.
I don't. All right, who knows?
That much?
Crazy.
Really?
No, look up a first class ticket today compared to like regular boarding.
I know it's a lot.
It's insane.
Now. Yeah.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I've flown first class a couple of times
through business, or was it your own personal ticket?
I mean, isn't it all the same?
No,
you're saying did some other company?
Did a company pay for it, or did you go like saying I'm flying first class?
Answer is yes.
You paid for first class tickets.
Sure,
baller.
Damn.
What do I want to do? Sit next to you?
How much did you pay?
It's not cheap, but it's not 10,000.
I usually try to get underneath, like in where they put the
sneak in with the luggage.
Sneak in with the luggage.
You can get away with a first class ticket for a few $1,000s. Wow.
We flew on an airline. I'll just say it's a budget airline to Disney. It was horrible. Like the smells and the.
Oh, you gotta love the Disney kid smells.
Well, was it supposed to be? It was like a chartered flight, like you know what I mean. But no, I'm sorry. This time, no. Usually we do a chartered flight through Boscov's Travel. This last time we decided to book.
Do they have that anymore?
I think they still do.
Wow.
Did you Boscov's today?
Yeah. Did you? Shout out to Boscov's.
Yeah,
so
they
have a good deal to Disney. We usually do that. This last time, we're like, no, we'll book all our own stuff. Got on this airline. I'm not going to name any names, but the smells, the experience, not good.
Yeah.
I flew first class once, but I was like 12 with my dad.
It wasn't first class.
Because
first ass.
No, my uncle had like extra tickets or whatever, but it was cool. Like once they closed them curtains,
right?
They were giving us like fluffier blankets. Like the people in the back were fighting over pillows.
Yep.
It's like
so nowadays you get meals, and I mean good food in first, while the people in not first get nothing, and I mean nothing.
Peanuts.
They get a bag of
they
peanuts.
Get a bag of peanuts.
Yeah. That's what we were getting.
And the drinks are free. You don't got to worry about paying $11 for
which is nice
for a rum and Coke,
which is very nice. Well, speaking of the smells, so this guy's back in coach, and Dell's now sitting next to him, and he's taking off his shoes and socks. Like, oh, my dogs are barking. Oh my god!
He says dogs are barking.
Could you imagine, dude? That would just be so nasty.
Oh, not in first class.
Flight goes on, which I'm surprised that it took this much time, or at least the movie leads you to believe it's this much time, because the old guy that's sitting next to him falls asleep on him, and Dell pretends to sleep. But again, this is just from New York to Chicago is what, an hour, two tops?
Two tops.
Yeah.
I don't know. Either way, ultimately, $6 in my right nut says we're not landing in Chicago, says Dell.
Yeah.
Because that flight's getting diverted.
Yep.
I was stranded in Chicago.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Remember that story?
It snows a lot there.
It snows a hell of a lot there. Yeah, and that was with a family trip too. I was also going to New Mexico for the holidays.
The FedEx story came up.
Oh shit! That's right. That's right. So as I'm thinking about this, just my own little, looking back and whatnot. So as Neil, aka Steve Martin, is racing to make his way to the airport, I was reminded of the joys of flying before 9/11. Like, especially where we're at, right? Harrisburg. You can still, to this day, like, forget that showing up 2 hours early.
Yeah.
Like, forget that shit. At HIA, you can show up 40
minutes. Yeah.
45 minutes before the plane is to take off.
And be good?
And you'll be fine.
See, I got to.
That's HIA.
No, I know that. I know that. But
there's nobody there.
But
no, it's so small. You go through so quickly.
I take my in-laws there. Like, I'm the designated driver to drop them off.
Were they drinking beforehand?
Yeah. Right. No, they just don't want to park down there.
I know this.
But I told them,
have to explain.
They were flying to Punta Cana or wherever they went. I don't know, but they had to be there like 2.5 hours, some crazy amount early, and I had to take them there at like 3:30 in the morning.
And I bet they sat there for an hour and a half doing nothing.
Probably, but I'm going to let them know that Zap said.
I promise you.
All right.
I promise you.
If you're there an hour, you have plenty of time.
Plenty.
Yeah.
You can even grab a coffee in like a McDonald's.
So FAA is going to lock that door of the plane 10 minutes before the thing takes off.
Well, it has to do with the check through, right? Like the have all your bags. That's right. Why they want you there so early.
Like Zap said before 9/11.
Right.
You didn't even, I mean, your family would walk you up.
Well, I didn't, to be honest, the first time I was ever on a plane was after 9/11. So yeah, so I didn't have any experience. I had no idea what I was missing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Shoot, my sister and I took a flight when I was 10, she was 8. And our parents just gave us some flight attendant.
I went to California in the summer of summer of 86. So I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
And again, only child. So I was just giving away. but there's this thing where they're like, hey, stewardess, you got there's some kind of program or some shit where they look after you.
You're the first seats like right up front where that little wall is where you can't do anything.
Yeah.
And you got to go to the cockpit though. And I remember they give you the wings. It was very cool. It's a very cool experience.
I was always scared to fly. Once I did it, I loved it. And I'm, past that now, but I was like petrified to fly, mostly because my parents never flew and they were always like, oh, they say flying is safer than driving and all that stuff, but I didn't know. I was scared. I'll never forget, there was a girl that we went to high school with. I don't know if her dad worked at the airport, 9th grade. She had a birthday party there. Were you at that party?
I sure was, because she also, I met her before 9th grade because she was at a party with Matt and I while we were still in grade school.
So we went out and I remember them taking us on the plane, and I was like scared that we were going to go fly somewhere. It was like, I was like, oh shit. Like
my parents are going to be picking me up in 2 hours.
Yeah. Like they were like, oh, we're going to go out on a plane. I'm like, oh, I was getting nervous. Like my heart was beating and shit, but they were just touring the plane. But I was at that party.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy flying. Like 2 rum and cokes and a couple of Razepams.
I remember we talked about that.
I'm sweet, but
I'd say
I don't mind it.
I don't mind it. I actually kind of enjoy it, but I'd get that. I'm claustrophobic.
Sure.
But for some reason, on a plane, it's not as bad. It's weird.
So no private jets for Dave.
No,
because that's like that size.
No, I mean, I like I said, the planes to me aren't. I don't know why. I just don't have that. Like elevators, I hate elevators. Like I don't like to be closed in anywhere. I can do it. I just don't enjoy it. But flying, at any rate.
Interesting. Yeah. So I was definitely at that party. I was hanging out with the headbangers at that party.
Oh, for real? I didn't realize there was that many people there. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, there was a group of long hairs.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So as Dell was clearly aware.
The funky Homo sapien.
The funky Homo sapien. The flight to O'Hare is diverted to Wichita. There's no chance of making their way to Chicago tonight. With sleeping on the floor in the airport as his only other option, Neil accepts Dell's invitation to tag along for the night at a hotel, in exchange for paying for the cab to the hotel, of course.
Yeah, that cab ride was funny. that dude.
Dude. So that
what
cab.
was it called?
Doobie Taxiola or something like that?
Taxiola.
On the topic of that car. So I'm watching this just the other day and I'm reminded. So that car was a 1968 Pontiac Bonneville hardtop sedan. So back in the day, when the difference between a sedan and a coupe is 4 versus 2 doors. Mm-hmm. All right. So it is visually identical to my first car, which was a 1968 Pontiac Catalina. Of course, mine didn't have hydraulics like this one.
No.
Or the little things hanging down.
Correct.
The beads.
You just had horns.
Correct. But look at which I stupidly put on. In hindsight, that was a stupid thing to do.
That looked cool, though.
No,
it was very
cool.
Texas.
Like Boss Hall.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. Yeah, dude. So watching that, man, I miss that car so bad. And some of research, look up like 1968 Pontiac Catalina. People have done great things with those cars. Mm-hmm. It's a antique by now, for Christ's sake. I mean, that's a 50-year-old car.
Did you sell that?
Yeah. I didn't sell it. I traded it in.
Yeah. You should have held on to that.
This guy had like naked pictures hanging up in there. Yeah, like there were a set of boobs on the dashboard. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if this guy did. I'm assuming he was a business that he would go pick people up. That
was just his car. Yeah, he was like the first Uber.
The first Uber. Yeah.
I
was gonna say that same thing for sure.
I'm sure he would get complaints nowadays for having all that. Oh, you can't have pictures like that up, and you can't have this and that. But that car just had everything. It was, to me, it was cool. Well, fun to ride in, but
for sure. So did either of you notice that Neil inadvertently ended up paying for that room that they got to? Like there was a switcheroo, like almost a shell game with the credit cards.
Oh, the credit cards, yeah. And the old swipe.
Correct. Yeah. As was the style at the time.
Old school.
These poor dudes get 1 room, 1 bed. That's beat.
That as soon as they walked in that room, it made me think of senior week.
Like God, yeah.
Congress in.
Yeah. Or that, yes.
Absolutely. So Dell used all the towels, right? Dell goes in showers. He does whatever first. And I mean, you look on that floor, everything's sopping wet. Everything's everywhere.
Because he didn't pull the curtain correctly. I hate when people do that. Dude, that's a pet peeve.
All he left for Neil was a damn washcloth to dry himself.
That little one.
That was hilarious.
It's on his back.
And there's mold on the floor.
Yeah,
it's nasty.
The beer cans had exploded on the bed. We don't discover why, though.
No.
Oh, yeah.
We don't know why, or do we? In the meantime, Matt, you had mentioned this earlier or alluded to it earlier, that when Neil calls Susan, his wife,
yeah.
she's at home watching a movie. Do you know what movie she's watching?
It's a movie starring Kevin Bacon.
Indeed it is.
Yeah.
She's having a baby?
She's having a baby is correct.
What year did that come out?
Actually, they said that was part of the fun fact was the movie came out actually after
Planes, Trains,
and Automobiles.
Really?
Yes.
How about that?
Because John Hughes was working on it, but it was one that he had before
Like a
they
scene
released
or
it.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's amazing.
Yes. Fun fact.
Yeah. I didn't know that shit at all.
Mm-hmm.
So in the meantime, Neil's got to sleep with Dell in the wet bed. And before Dell's trying to get himself to sleep, he's clearing his throat, right? So he doesn't snore.
That's so nasty.
That was so nasty. And of course, like anyone else is going to do, Neil lays into him. And I mean, just lays into him.
Lets him have it, yeah.
Like just completely demolishes that guy's any kind of confidence, any kind of
Was
decency.
that with the chatty Cathy?
Correct.
He was like, wah, wah.
He's pulling the string.
He's pulling the string.
Oh God, that was so good.
Yeah, my wife really doesn't have patience for like annoying people. And watching this movie, she was like annoyed that by that whole scene. She was like, "Oh," I was like, "Man, you're just like Steve Martin." Like, you're
She annoyed with Steve Martin or
no,
with John
with
Candy?
John Candy. She's like, "Oh my God, oh," and I was like, "Oh, you're just like Steve Martin," and it's just like no tolerance for any nonsense.
Well, he didn't have like. He seemed kind of like how do you say it? Like he wasn't dumb or anything. He just like not slow. I don't know what the word.
He just seemed like he was like
He was just overly talkative.
well that and
No,
just
but like some of the stuff with like the beer in the bed with the thing, like he don't really think, or with the towels, like when somebody with
There's a common courtesy or a common sense. That
like common sense,
oblivious.
He was oblivious to other
everything.
people.
Yeah.
it strikes me that this guy spends a lot of time alone.
Oh,
I'm just saying, just because, like, if you're using
the way he's acting,
if you're using all of the towels, like you don't think to
For others and
leave
stuff.
towels for others.
But
or
even that, it's kind of, you would know better that there's another guy there staying with you. You don't know this guy. You know what I mean? Out of courtesy.
he's a slob.
Yeah, that's an easy way to say it too. He's just sloppy.
He's just a slob.
He's sloppy fat, as my grandma would say.
But that vibrating bed, so 25 cents. We actually just bought new beds. Like
There's a new vibrating.
new vibrator. Yeah, we bought one of them too.
Is that an upcharge to get the quarter accepting?
Yeah, you
vibrating
put a
machine?
quarter in. Actually, now it just comes with a remote now.
What, you
So
got
we
one of those beds that,
Yeah, they're like dual and you can recline them and do that, but they have a feature. It's a massage feature, but it's just like that vibrating.
it's the Kama Sutra bed.
Pretty much.
That's awesome, man.
But
Cool.
you get some use out of it.
That's
I mean,
a
it's
baller bed, by the way.
yeah.
Hold on, honey. I'll be right there.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute.
I mean, it sounds,
Give me a minute.
dude, it's loud.
I'm ready.
It's loud as hell. Like when I'm downstairs, it sounds like I'm at HIA. You know what I mean? Like there's shit taking
Your kids are like, Mom, Dad, stop it. That's
yeah.
I'm right here.
He said HIA.
I'm home, by the way.
Sounds like it's warming up.
Yeah, it's the whole house vibrates in the windows and
Jesus.
stuff. But yeah, you can get them at your house now,
That's a hefty bed, man.
big time.
So I thought those ones like when you're like on hospice or something. That's what I'm thinking in my
Oh
head.
yeah,
Like,
well, like those Craftmatic back in the
Oh, my
80s,
God.
the Craftmatic beds that you could, you know what I mean? That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
they're like.
like Dave getting up in the morning for work. He's like, no, and I get the feet.
Well, no shit. There's a button on there that's like a TV button that like props you up so
Yeah.
that you can sit up and
Damn,
watch
that's
TV.
cool.
So sometimes at night I'll lay the remote there and roll over and forget. I'll be half asleep and I'll roll over in my sleep and hit that button and it'll like zzz, like it's almost like I'm raising from the dead.
Now you're all kinked up backwards if you're
Yeah.
laying on your stomach.
Between-
Exactly. Yeah.
Break
Between
your goddamn spine.
first class flights over there and Craftmatic
Craftmatic
super
beds.
adjustable, I realized I'm the poorest guy on the podcast.
Yeah.
It's interesting to hear.
Jeez.
It's interesting to hear one or all of us continue to use the term Craftmatic.
Yeah.
Now, nowadays, I can promise you there are dozens of players in the markets of adjustable whatever kind of bed.
Sleep number. And
But
this and
we use Craftmatic because if I'm not mistaken, they were first to market.
that. Oh, hell yeah.
Craftmatic adjustable.
Just like Uber was the first to market in this, private courier of people.
Bringing your food.
There's a number of other rideshare services, but people now use the term Uber to explain all of them for the same reason people use the term Q-tip instead of cotton swab or Kleenex instead of tissue.
Or look something up. You Google it.
Using Google as a verb, Jesus Christ. Yes, just like that.
It's called marketing.
It's called awful or stupidity.
Right.
But either way, so these guys, after their fight and after whatever, they got to kiss and make up. They got to sleep together.
They didn't do that in the movie.
They did not kiss in the movie.
Yeah.
Sleep together in the sense of sleeping in a bed
In
together.
the bed together.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are sleeping together in the same bed.
No spoilers.
Sleeping in the same bed together. So while they sleep, thief breaks in, steals all of their money. Just jams that lock right open, right?
Yeah, could that happen with a knife? Could you pick a lock with a knife like that?
I'm sure in a hotel like that back in the 80s.
I have a friend that's a locksmith, and I wanted to get a hold of him before the episode to find out if that could be real. Because it basically has like one of them like Swiss Army knife looking things.
Yep.
And he's just like prying it like in the door lock, and boom, it pops open. I'm like, could you do that?
You would have to, I think, doing that, you're actually breaking the tumblers.
Mm.
I mean, so those tumblers go on different levels, right? You know,
Right.
just think of a skyscraper, like a length of a street, right? You see one tall one, short one, tall one, short one.
Right.
I mean, that's basically what a key does is it
pushes them down.
pushes them down to all the same levels, so then you can twist the John inside
To
there.
open it up.
You can get them on the internet. You can get like kits and stuff to practice.
Absolutely.
You can buy the whole set of how to. I mean, it's not illegal if you're breaking into your own stuff, but if
True.
you use it for other things.
So I'm
Right.
thinking a knife or anything forcefully into there is just going to bust all the tumblers out of their space. They're just these little pins.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You bust them all out. You can open anything.
You could rough it up.
Yeah, that hotel or motel, they weren't
Holiday
paying
Inn.
Holiday Inn.
high dollars for safety.
Security.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Well, after their night of sleep and victim of thievery, they wake the next morning all over each other, right? They're just spooning.
Yeah.
You got little spoon and big spoon. I'll never forget this. This quote is just great when Neil says, Dale, why did you kiss my ear? Dale responds, why are you holding my hand? Neil says, well, where's your other hand? Dale responds, between two pillows.
Yeah.
Those aren't pillows.
That's right. Then he get up and talk about, that was a good game last night.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you see that?
That's where guys go to that.
Yeah, they're like
Talk
the
sports.
Cubs look great. But
Bears actually. Bears.
Those Bears.
Yeah.
It's
The Bears.
It's
The
not
Bears.
the Bears. It's not until they go to the diner the next morning for breakfast that they both realize they've been robbed. But of course, that's after Neil accuses Dell of stealing his money. And I think it's only because Neil was the first one to open his wallet.
Was it a Diners Club card or something? Was that what it was called? Diners Club?
There was a thing.
Yeah.
The Diners Club was
I think that's what he said. He took his Diners Club card.
Yeah. They stole it.
Yeah.
I noticed something too on the nightstand when they woke up the next morning. They had some Trident gum, and Zap, I thought you'd appreciate this. Kent cigarettes.
Oh,
So did you ever hear that brand?
oh yeah.
Yeah, Kent. I never did. So I looked it up. Kent cigarettes were actually the first cigarette to market, many people say, to popularize filtered cigarettes. So
Popularized
So they were
filtered cigarettes.
They were filtered.
they were the first manufacturer.
As to like a Pall Mall.
This
or
is in like 1952 when they came out with it. And there was like an article out in like one of the magazines about how cigarettes have all these toxins in them, and if you put a filter on it, it's going to protect them.
Yep.
Well, they were
Lies.
one of the first ones to market with
The filtered
the
cigarette.
filtered cigarette,
Oh,
which did
thank you, Kent.
do some good, but then they said a lot of these filters were worse than just smoking the regular. The early filters were worse than them as the regular cigarettes. But yeah,
Kent, who was also from Real Genius.
Also true.
yeah, I think maybe that's where he started.
Kent
As soon as I
cigarettes.
hear it,
That's all I think about right away. I heard Kent.
Kent.
That's the only Kent I
This
know.
is God, Kent. Make a filter. Yeah,
what he
fun
said.
fact though.
Fun fact.
nice. Well, all right. After all of that, having been let down with planes, maybe a train will be a suitable mode of transport to Chicago.
Go for it.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
They got to make their way to the train though. So it's a good thing that Dell knew the owner of that hotel, because the hotel sends his son Owen to go collect these two from the hotel and take them to the train station. So Owen, right? This is a truck driver, right? So he's got that bad nasally wheezing thing, like every breath. It's either exhale or inhale. It's just like this. I can't even mimic the sound. It's just awful. Although Owen's wife is the best.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's a good woman.
Silent the whole time. Get your lazy behind out here and put that trunk up in the back.
Yeah.
And they're correcting like, no, it's okay, man. Look, she's holding a baby. She's
She was
pregnant.
pregnant holding a baby.
Yeah. So she was pregnant, right?
Yeah, she
Right.
was pregnant.
All right. So Owen says, no, she don't mind. She's short and skinny, but she's strong. Her first baby, it came out sideways. She didn't scream or nothing.
Yeah, it was good.
Now, quick. I don't know if this is like a fun fact to take away a fun fact, but it's set up so grand here. In this movie, they did this scene a couple times, and the one they the guy was saying Owen needed to be like real dirty, nasty. He's like, do something to make Steve Martin like feel like gross or something. 'Cause that's where he spit in his hand. Remember, he shake his hand.
Correct.
That's the face of Steve Martin was like that, and he was like perfect. That was perfect.
He had spit his chewing tobacco out, and then he wiped the side of his mouth. And in the same motion as he's finishing wiping his hand off of his mouth, he reaches out for a handshake.
That's
yeah,
nasty.
it's just like, yeah. And they said Steve Martin was like, ugh.
Good gnarly. For damn sure, good gnarly.
I like those two in those scenes, and I don't know if they started that in the 80s. I'm sure they did in a lot of movies where they show a person get out of the car, all you see is their feet, and they play dramatic music, and you see
Like
these
boom,
feet walking, these boots, and then it zooms up to the, you know what I mean? You see
Person, and it kind of like pans back.
So the first time you see her, like, oh, what are they going to look like? Who's it going to be? Like, almost that surprise. Like,
Sure.
You know, which this guy was quite a character.
Oh
so.
my God.
And those like beat up rubbers.
Yeah.
Now, where did they want to go to? They wanted to go to, I forget the town. They wanted to go to.
They thought it was in Wichita,
Kansas.
So they wanted to go to Wichita proper to catch a train. But of course, Owen corrects them. No, that's where they send the animals out of.
Right. You got to go to.
You want a people train, you got to go to Steubenville.
Yeah.
The people train right out of Steubenville.
Weren't they the back of this guy's pickup? Yeah. Just freezing their ass off.
40 some miles. They're driving in the freezing cold in Kansas in the middle of November, end of November.
Yeah. It's not that bad.
Hey, that was cool back in the 80s. I used to do that to baseball games.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's illegal
back
now.
Of the truck.
They took all
Can't
that fun
do that
away.
now. Yeah.
Thanks the law.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, once again, Neil's on the hook though. He's got to pay for train tickets. I mean, so far he paid for all meals. He's paid for the hotel, and he's now paying for train tickets. Of course, in separate cars.
Well, Dell's going to pay him back. He's like, don't worry about it. I got you.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Well, of course, just their luck. The train breaks down. Of course, as they're all exiting, everyone's exiting the train, making their way to the closest bus station, which is 3 or 4 miles away. Mm-hmm. They're all walking across the fields of Kansas.
Fields.
Neil sees Dell struggling, carrying his trunk, offers to, come on, man. You see some dude who's carrying his heavy ass trunk, you're going to do something. And you know who the guy is. So again, despite their differences, despite the towel incident and the beer incident and the whatever incident, he goes and helps them, and they make their way to the bus.
Much like the Muppets, they're together again.
Just together again.
Yeah, that way
moving right along.
I'm sorry, no, real quick. The way this guy never really paid
it's
for
never
any,
real quick.
It isn't. This one won't be too bad. It's like reminding me of a mutual friend. Matt knows him too. A guy that you always have that friend that never has money. Like back in the day in the 90s, it was always this guy never had his Mac. I forgot my Mac card. We'd be out late at night drinking, and we'd want to go to the diner or we'd go to Sheetz to get food, and the guy never had. It just conveniently. I don't have my Mac card.
Broke ass.
Yeah, which Mac cards were the ATM cards back in the day.
Or you show up like, hey, I'm running to grab some cigarettes and like.
Well, there's that guy too. I know who you're thinking of, but there was another guy later on in the 90s.
In the 90s.
That we'd always end up at Colonial Park Diner. I love the guy to death, and I would never want the money back. But I know I bought him late, or I should say early morning dinners or lunches, or not lunches, but early morning
$24,000 of the park.
That the guy, I paid for him over all those years, but yeah.
No, but there was the other guy too, a friend of ours. But yeah, he'd always be like, "Oh, if you're going to the store, do you mind getting me a?" And it'd be anything. Do you mind stopping at Burger King, grabbing me a Whopper, and then maybe stopping at the Giant there real quick?
Yeah,
and
you got all these errands to run.
Hey, do you mind going to Sheetz then, picking up a pack of cigarettes for me?
That's beat.
Yeah,
that dude's beat. He sounds oaky. Well, so far the plane failed, the train failed. Surely a bus to St. Louis will help them along. Surely.
You would think.
So they're on the bus. I mean, you see that, headbanging couple just just disgusting PDA.
That dude reminded me of Joey.
Joey.
You know Joey. We went to school with him.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Okay.
I think he listens to our podcast.
Well, yeah, I saw he liked a couple of the posts, but I'm looking at that and it reminded me of Joey.
Yeah.
Actually, first time I met Joey was on a bus like that in 9th grade. And I never forget, like he had the Guns N' Roses cassette. Yeah. And we were going like a field trip or something like that.
Is that with the inside with the knives, the girl that's being
correct?
Yeah,
the
in ninth grade, it would have been Appetite for Destruction.
So I'm not at that time. I'm all rap all day. You know what I mean? I don't listen to rock really. I knew their songs on the radio, and he was like listening to it, and he was talking about it. And he let me borrow that tape, and I was like, oh. Yeah, and then I was like, what a great album, you know what I mean? But yeah, I thank him for getting me into Guns N', which they were huge by then, but not in my world.
No.
But yeah, that dude reminded me of Joey. Back to the original thought.
100%. I can absolutely see that.
Yep.
Absolutely see that. They had a sing along on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Neil, played by Steve Martin. He just gets shut down. He sings this song. I have no idea what song was that.
3 coins in a fountain.
Yeah, I don't know what
Each
song
one seeking happiness. You don't know that song?
Wait a second.
You know that one?
Yeah.
You are the only person I've ever met who knows that song.
It's
with the exception of Steve Martin.
It was like a Neil Sedakis or something like that.
Neil Sedakis.
I don't know who like exactly it was, but I think my Pat would listen to stuff like that on the radio. There's like a station that played songs like that.
Was it like folksy? Was it like the Michael Bolton of its time?
He was like not Dean Martin. What was the other guy? Old Blue Eyes. Was that guy?
Frank Sinatra.
Like a Frank Sinatra type.
Like a crooner.
Yeah, my mom knows that song too.
3
coins in a fountain.
So you knew that and the Cajun Chef.
What, the Cajun Chef?
Isn't that what your grandfather watched that too?
Oh yeah. Ooh wee.
I guarantee.
Little Louisiana spice of pepper. Wee.
All right, so let's see. All right. Oh, so they make their way to the bus station. After the ride, and he gets everybody up to beat now with singing the Flintstones song.
Yeah, because nobody wanted to sing 3 coins in a fountain.
No.
He ruined the whole vibe, man.
Dude, never heard that song ever. Now I have to look that up.
Yeah, we'll have to listen to it then.
It's a great one.
You should play that during the synopsis.
Well, I'll play it during the
That should be the
intro.
The intro.
Or the outro.
That'd be great.
Well, I can put it on our social media when I put these out and tie music to it.
Yeah.
I can put that in there,
Please do. I'll pay the fines. There's not going to be fines.
There's not going to be fines. That guy's dead.
I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you. There's not going to be fines.
No,
I would encourage you to do that more often.
Yeah, there will be no fine. Like a lot of the stuff that we think of, nobody's looking at.
Nobody cares.
The ODB podcast and going to be like, they used my song.
Just do it.
I want $3.99.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Let me check with JW on that.
All right.
See what he says.
So these guys got no money. Again, they got robbed.
Mm-hmm.
They were absolutely robbed. But they didn't take their credit card. So they got no cash, no whatever. But in true form, now Dell shows his best stuff here. This guy's walking around the bus station selling shower rings, telling them that they're earrings, like high fashion this, or it was
Daryl Strawberry signed this one.
He was a hell of a salesman, though.
Dude.
The dude could sell.
This was some ancient Chinese Zing Dynasty original.
Yeah.
No,
this is made of Ivory Coast off the elephant of whatever.
This is Czechoslovakian ivory.
And who was the one girl that's on like not the Today Show, but something, Diane Sawyer or something like that.
Okay.
Like one of them. And he was like, oh, Diane Sawyer, this is, she wore this, or I don't know. Yeah, but he was using all these things to like put value on these shower rings.
People were buying them.
Yeah.
Selling them to, there was a group of young girls. These make you look at least 20, 21
years old. Yeah. Much older.
They all just start working out cash.
Mm.
So it is interesting. So right after that, like they're going to they have this meal, and at lunch, I should say while they're having this meal, if you look around, though, one waitress and I think one of the waitress or the hostess are both wearing shower rings in their ears.
Yeah, it became like a fashion thing.
Yeah, so it was
big in the Kansas area.
For one day.
Yes,
there's a foreshadow in this. There's a quote that Dell says. They're talking about, oh man, I can't wait to be home. I can't wait to be home. And Dell says, I haven't been home in years.
Yeah.
And he quickly, brushes it off. It's, oh, well, it's because I travel so much, or I travel so much, I don't know what home even feels like anymore. It just kind of blows it off. Alas, Neil's ready to, break these guys up. He's like, look, it's probably better if we go our separate ways, right?
Right.
No, they do. So they split. Now on his own, Neil seeks out a rental car. Surely nothing could be easier than renting a car and driving home, right?
Back to that, I don't know if it was that restaurant or a later on scene, but it made me think of that when I saw in the background, there was a huge mural on the background, like the backdrop as they're eating, and they're at like a family restaurant. Or when you're in a restaurant and I see that, you just know the food's going to be good. I was thinking it was like a big fall foliage looking mural. You ever go in a restaurant and like the whole wall's like a mural?
That's usually like upstate Pennsylvania.
Well, just any like family home cooking restaurant, you'll see that.
If you go to Outback Steakhouse,
it's one of Australia.
If you go to Outback Steakhouse, there's a mural that it cascades through the entire place. At least
really?
Now this is the Outback that's on my shore. It's by the Capital City Mall.
Okay.
It's in the parking lot, but it is a scape of, I want to say Pittsburgh or possibly Philadelphia, but I want to say it looks like Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it just wraps around the entire
The whole thing's
interior.
covered.
Permanentes is like that.
Yeah, Permanentes has
They
that,
have
but
that,
I'm
yeah.
talking about these mom and pop type like home
Sure.
cooking restaurants. They always
It's like
have
an old man was up there painting it years
it's
ago.
just like a mural on the wall. It's just like it has that home. Like I don't know. I just saw it and it made me think of like I know you've had to be in restaurants like that where you saw this murals on the wall.
Sure.
And it's just like
Remember we had
you just know the food's going to be good.
Hell yeah.
a buddy, Lou Borelli.
God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But I remember his house. He had that big mural of Puerto Rico
Oh,
in the
you
living
told me
room.
about that. Yeah.
Oh my God, that was fantastic. That was fantastic.
There was like the palm trees and stuff, like the ocean. It's
Like in his living room?
Yeah, in his living room. That was like what they had on the wall.
Oh, I remember. Well, he lived down the street from me, like right like
Yeah.
a block down. Like when we were real little.
But it tripped me out. I was in there. I was like, man, dude.
You put a
I was
towel out.
yeah, I was like,
lay
would you
out.
guys miss it? Like you put like birds in the background and stuff.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
That was absolutely ridiculous. All right, so this poor dude wants to rent a car, right? All right, so he gets the car, he rents, goes through all the process, and he goes to get dropped off to his car. There's no fucking car. It's just an empty parking spot. I mean, that bites, right? So he's got to make his way back and find out what happens to his car.
I'm sure that happened a lot in the 80s like that. I think
Yeah.
because they didn't have their shit together
No.
back then.
Did
really.
you catch? I don't know if you've seen this movie many times, and I know Matt, you said you have, but did you watch it again like right before this?
Yeah, just the
So
other day.
did you catch the bus driver when he drops him off, the voice that he uses, and did you make a connection to that Anthony Michael Hall impersonation, the real jazzy kind of like from Weird Science? He was like, I think he said to him, "It's a white Lincoln Town car." Like, you know how the voice is.
Yeah.
Space V5. If you listen to that voice, you don't see the driver. You just hear the voice.
It was the-
even got his license,
Right.
Lisa.
It's that whole
Yes.
voice.
Right.
So John Hughes, I'm just thinking, was it Anthony Michael Hall?
maybe
Was
they
it
told him
somebody
to
that,
base it on that. Yeah.
yeah. But if you listen back, compare the two. They're almost identical.
I thought he sounded like the one Harlem Globetrotter, the guy that was in, oh God, but is it like Curly? Curly, is that
Mo.
his name?
The ones that are always in
Like
In,
Scooby Doo.
Scooby-Doo,
Yeah, yeah.
Like, hey, Scooby Doo,
Yeah, that guy.
I can bounce this too.
look at this, Scooby.
Yeah. Space V5.
Hey, Scooby, you don't you drive a cab? Oh, that's Doobie.
Doobie.
Sorry. So yeah, dude. So Dangerously has to make his way like off the beaten path, or he chooses the shortest distance between
He's
2
like
points.
sliding down in the
Dude, I know, man.
snow and the
Gonna
mud.
get hit by cars.
Well, that's a big ass airport. Like that made me think like we were talking about HIA.
Sure.
These airports are like totally different
Oh my
scale.
God, they're miniature cities.
We were down actually when we did that Disney trip. We went to out of BWI, which is a massive airport,
Mm-hmm.
much bigger than HIA. But I don't know if it's where was this one out? St. Louis.
Yep.
Or is that where
St.
they were
Louis
at
is a
that
big
point? Yeah.
airport.
So I've never been there, but it seemed like it took forever to get back to the terminal. You know.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's like St. Louis, Chicago, New York.
Well, they got those.
BWI. Like
Well,
they're
all right. So now we've been to HIA. So we've also, surely all of us have driven by or to HIA. I mean, Matt and I know for damn sure, coming up in that area, that airport, at least at one point, was surrounded by rental car places.
Oh yeah.
And I mean,
oh my God, still.
that were
Yeah.
miles away from the actual airport itself.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
On the
I could
Harrisburg
see that.
Pike, yeah.
I mean, dude, basically imagine getting dropped off at the McDonald's in Highspire and then having to walk to
HIA.
HIA is a
Right.
trip. Yeah.
And he took the back way. And if you did the back way from McDonald's, you're walking on train tracks.
Yeah, the whole way.
Yeah, and like going through just
Swampy, funky.
swampy
I
land.
ended up at the Sunburst.
Ooh.
Oh, I miss that place so much. Oh my God. Their clams were so good.
I
They
used to
did.
ask,
They had that special there.
yeah,
Yeah.
I used to have to go there for my birthday. I think I might have mentioned that before.
The Sunburst.
Sunburst. They go in that basement. It just smelled like smoke and
Mm-hmm.
clam strips.
Yeah, I remember that place.
Just smoke and memories.
They had a mural on the wall.
Yeah, and then if you get drunk enough, you could have got a room there.
True.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't want nobody driving.
Fuck it, Dave. They had a mural on the wall.
I think they did, didn't they? I don't know. I was there a couple times.
Hanging
know it's a good
murals on
place.
my wall.
No,
That's what
in
I'm
the
doing when I go
Sunburst.
home.
They
I know
had-
they did.
Yeah.
It was a big sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
see?
was.
Told you.
Over
It's good.
Puerto Rico.
No.
No.
It's just I think it was over the Burst Motel.
Look for that. I bet you if we ask Officer Vince up in Meadville, if there's a good family restaurant, I bet you they have a
I bet he
mural.
knows 3.
Yeah. Well, he probably knows
pop,
them all.
pop, pop.
At least. All right. So eventually Neil makes his way back, right? He's good. He's look, I want my fucking car. And he goes off on this diatribe. And I mean, it's just F-bomb after F-bomb after F-bomb with the poor rental agreement lady.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean, dude, he wouldn't stop with that. So Go.
Oh no. They said about that part too. They said I forget the actress's name. You have it on here. Blah, 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 blah.
She was Mrs. Poole.
Edie McClurg.
Edie McClurg.
Eddie McClurg.
Yeah, and people might know her best from what?
Ferris
Ferris
Bueller's Day
Bueller.
Off. Or from Valerie.
Oh, Valerie, yeah.
Valerie. What Valerie? Who's Valerie?
A
So
TV
the-
show, yeah.
The TV show was Valerie, and then it was Valerie's Family or some shit like that. Like the actress
That Bateman was in that, right?
that's correct.
Yeah.
She died. Valerie died. The actual actress.
Oh, she the
Valerie.
redheaded
Valerie Harper?
Valerie Harper.
Valerie Harper.
Yeah.
Brunette, reddish,
Brunette.
whatever. She died, and then Sandy Duncan
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yes,
took
took
over her
over.
spot. She had a fake eye,
Sandy Duncan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
Huh.
the
The little
Sammy Davis Jr.
Sammy Davis. Sammy.
Yeah. Good one, good one.
old glass eye.
But anyway, this McClurg, they were saying that she was filming it and trying to be or do something, and Hughes was like, "That's stupid. I don't like that. I don't like that." So when she was talking about like Thanksgiving dinner, and that was just something that she came up with. That was on the
On the
spot.
phone.
Yeah,
Oh,
before she did this whole part.
how about
And they said that the "you're fucked" part she came up with too.
That was good.
That
So
was
that was
good.
ad libbed.
Yes, that was ad libbed.
Well done, Edie. That was really good.
And there you guys go with the R rating.
That's all from this.
That's right.
Just
it is,
this one part.
it is because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. All right. So he's got no rental car because he threw his agreement away. So now he just says, fuck it. I want to get a cab from St. Louis to Chicago. Why not? That's not out of the question.
No, absolutely not.
That is not beyond the scope of possibility. I mean, it's 300 miles away.
Yeah.
That's an easy.
Like here to
Pittsburgh. Yep.
Sure.
Yep.
And
3 hours.
I know dudes like I have in my phone dudes that will drive that.
You're doing 100 mile an hour there? 3 hours?
3 hours and 20 minutes. Pittsburgh
Yeah.
from here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait,
It's four. More like
Four?
four for me.
Yeah, I would say Pittsburgh area code maybe.
Johnstown.
What do you got, Batmobile or something?
Johnstown. Yeah.
You
I
got
take a.
You got a DeLorean.
I know a way around the turnpike.
I was like, damn.
that only works if he did that this past weekend during daylight savings time.
That's when you know you don't
yeah.
drive for a living, when you can make times like that.
I thought it'd be.
I can't mess around.
Yeah, it's like 3 hours, man.
That's true.
I was just there last year. It took me 3 hours and 15 minutes.
I'm riding with you. I go to a Steelers game then.
For damn sure. For damn sure, I'm not driving.
I have a Viper
Protected by Viper.
on my Jeep. It's like whoa, You're like,
Radar.
slow down.
Yep.
Oh, shit.
That'll do
They
it.
can't even pick those out anymore.
Nope. But you could find one on eBay.
Picks out the fuzz though.
No.
No,
They've
not
changed.
at all.
They've changed from
The-
analog or whatever.
Yeah.
It's all digitized.
Digital, yeah.
So, with no chance at all of getting a rental, Neil attempts to get a cab, pisses off the dispatcher, who ends up knocking him to the ground, where he's almost run over by, of all people,
Ray Charles.
Dale Griffith.
Yeah, Ray Charles.
Like, almost runs over his fucking grape, man.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever.
That dude that knocked him out, he looked like the kid in Christmas Story, but like grown up with that like that hat. And
Oh, yeah.
he just had that look with the scarf and the
Oh, God, what was his name? What was it? He had green eye or red
Yeah.
eyes. Red
Yeah.
eyes.
Ray McCracken.
No.
in Christmas Story. He's like, yeah. And then he had a little
Toady.
Yeah, Toady.
the little guy with him that was talking shit, you know what I mean, but he couldn't do anything.
Scott Farkas.
Scott Farkas.
There you go.
He's a grown up Scott Farkas little
Yeah.
dude.
So Dell has saved the day by offering Neil a ride in his rental car. Look, Chicago's only a mere 300 miles away.
What's his run? Like a Dodge? What?
It was a Dodge something.
It's like a Chrysler or Dodge. Yeah. It was
The Dodge Insignia is all I remember, but
it's an 86 Dodge something, and it was made to look like, as close as it could resemble, the
vacation car.
vacation
Mhm.
car.
Mhm. I think it was like a LeBaron, like a Chrysler
Chrysler
LeBaron looking, whatever the equivalent Plymouth or Dodge would
Right.
be to that.
Yeah. Well, with a bit of luck, they'll be in Chicago before you know it. Okay, 300 miles away. Come on, you can do it.
You can do that.
But with these two, there's no such thing as luck, right? Not surprisingly, they end up arguing during their drive. And look, you've seen it. Like,
Right.
there's going to be that guy, that passenger that won't stop fidgeting around with the goddamn seat.
Right. Just moving it. Yeah.
And this is I don't want to say he's not physically fit. This Del Griffith.
No.
He's a
he's
fat
a large
dude.
gentleman.
Yeah.
He's a-
I like how his voice changed too from grabbing his nuts.
Oh,
He was in the
yeah.
fight. Yeah.
That's right.
So was that like a girl's voice? I guess they dubbed over.
Something, yeah.
Was it?
I don't know. I'm just assuming.
It sounded almost like he was talking on helium
Yeah. Yeah.
while he was on helium or had ingested helium in some way. The classic Ray Charles version of Mess Around. I mean, Dell killed it. Matt's doing it now. Like he's just playing the keys on the dashboard. He's playing saxophone. After, at some point he flicks his cigarette butt into the back seat.
Which that happens regularly.
Shit, yeah.
I remember like
all the time.
Yeah. Being younger, you're always like, shit, did I get that in the back?
Yeah, when you throw a cigarette out.
Yeah, out the window, especially when it's cold because you just do the cracks. But sometimes you have friends in the back. They crack the window because they're back there smoking.
Right.
So,
It messes up the airflow.
I see what you're saying.
That thing will blow right back in.
Yep.
Yeah, it does
like a suction.
It was fortunate to have the 1968 Pontiac Catalina I'd had. It had cigarette windows.
What's that mean?
So the
sides.
You could push it out.
The window was a square.
Yeah.
And in the front of that window was a triangle that would angle to the windshield.
And then a little thing, you push it.
Little knobby on it, you just push it out.
That was in the Dodge Ram Charger also.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Yeah, that thing was awesome.
That's cool.
Shit, yeah.
We need old cars with those things.
Shit, yeah.
Cigarette windows.
So how did they get going the wrong way? He was trying to take his coat off.
Yeah, and he got his coat stuck. Then he was going, and then he twirled around, and then he started driving.
That's right. That's
because he was getting hot because his back seat was on fire.
That's right. I forgot about. That's right. I just saw this the other day.
Yeah.
So ultimately, they're driving down the road, and this kind couple is like honking, trying to tell him, like, dude, you're going the wrong way.
You're getting pissed.
You're going the wrong. No, he's drunk. How do you know where we're going?
Yeah.
That's the one that I remember this part like all the time. I use it all. You know how you said these movies that we watch. You
Absolutely.
Use these things. Like he's going the wrong way. How do you know which way? How do they know which way we're going?
That's
funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So of course these two were nearly killed by these two tractor trailers that are coming in the appropriate direction. These guys just drive right between them. They pull over, try to catch their breath, calm down a little bit. All of a sudden, as they're sitting there talking, the car catches on fire from that goddamn cigarette.
Just to go. That's funny. They're in between the two tractor trailers. Like they're turning into like skeletons. And like, he's looking at Steve Martin's looking, he's like the devil's like,
special effects.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, that was funny.
It was. Of course, Neil gloats at what he sees as Dell's liability for the totaled vehicle. Oh, but it was your credit card. Yeah, Dell tells him he'd used his credit card, which he'd found in his wallet, that was the switch up that had to have happened at the first hotel.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Had to be.
It's the Diners Club card.
Diners Club.
He had a card for Chalmers. He said, "Oh, I have a credit card for Chalmers department store or something like that." And he was like, he's like, "But you can't. That's no good anywhere."
Yeah.
It made me think of that.
Yeah.
Super Nintendo Chalmers.
Yeah.
Nintendo Chalmers.
Superintendent. Only Ralph Wickham calls him Superintendent.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So with their rental car now but a shell of what it used to be, the two make their way to a hotel for what will hopefully be their last night away from home. So what? They're checking in, right? They got no cash.
Right.
How are they going to get a hotel room?
Those watches.
There's that watch we talked about.
Yeah.
Was it $17 in a watch?
Yeah, $17 in a watch, and he had some quarters in there. So it was like a 5, a 10, and then a 1, and then 4 quarters.
Piaget.
They had that Piaget Polo.
Yeah, the Piaget Polo.
Poor Dell doesn't have that sort of jewelry.
No, he had a Casio.
Which he displays so nicely.
He's like, put it over, yeah. He's a salesman.
Yeah, he is. I would have took the Casio.
It didn't work on this hotel clerk. Although
Who was that guy?
I've seen him before.
I was going to ask you guys if you know him.
For damn sure I've seen him before.
Yeah, it looks very familiar.
He had like the toothpick. Like, is that the first guy? This guy like.
This guy had a very familiar look to me.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh man, let's see what happens. Oh, so now you got me thinking about that guy. God damn it! I got to get that out of my head.
Get it in the mailbag.
Yeah, that'll be a mailbag item.
Well, poor Dell got nothing, so he's got to sleep in the car. And of course, while he's sitting out there in the cold, getting snowed on or just freezing his ass off, he's just talking to himself. But he's talking to himself as if he's talking to his wife. He's like, you were right.
Right.
You're always right. Anything you tell me, I'm going to talk somebody's ear off, or I'm going to, isolate make people, go away from me.
Drive them away.
All that shit. Well, Neil, of course, takes pity, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean,
Neil's sitting all comfy in his jammies in the warm room.
In the warm room.
I don't care how cold-hearted you are unless you're Ted Bundy. I mean, you're not going to
Bundy would invite you in.
Yeah, true.
Like, come on in.
But
true.
You couldn't do that. Let somebody sit out in the cold, no matter how annoying they are.
It's true.
Well, that's what they were showing. Like, It was just a part of the movie just to show how pissed he was at this guy. It's like every freaking time.
Yep.
Like we tried to do something and you're always ending up here with me and always screwing something up.
Yep.
Right.
So it was like that point where he's like, fuck this guy. I'm tired of his bullshit. And then, you get the heartwarming thing.
Then their next interaction was good.
Yes.
Of course. Well, when he comes in and they go through the bottles.
Yeah, and the Doritos.
Yep.
and-
So yeah, that was actually all of that shit was in Dell's trunk. Like that was his collection
Yes.
of food and
Of
snacks.
mini
Places he visited. Yeah.
mini
Oh,
bottles.
okay.
Of, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't catch
That's
that.
what all he does is stay at hotels. So when he goes to these different hotels, he just takes the mini bottles that are left.
Which
And
was
the
nice.
snacks.
I thought that was really redeeming.
Yeah, it was cool. And this bag of Doritos, it took me back that classic style. They look different. The bagging, the packaging
yeah.
back then. I love looking at packaging back in the day because like, oh shit, I remember that. But yeah, they were sitting there having a good time, man.
They
It was
didn't
cool.
use foil bags back then.
No.
Well, these guys, I mean, they've been through a lot together so far.
Right.
That's why, yeah, they're like, have a couple. Nothing brings guys together like then drinks and Doritos.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or some pizza they could have had too. But,
That's right.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yep.
With Grande.
Ooh, that's right. It must be Grande.
Grande.
Well, the next morning, it's now Thanksgiving Day. Look, it's home or bust. It is time for Neil and Dell to finish their shared journey to Chicago. Come on, man. Time to go home.
Yep.
They got to be racing out of that hotel, right? Got to be.
Yeah, how about that Roy Orbison painting? I forgot to mention that in the hotel. I thought that was cool.
Was that in the lobby or in their room?
It was in his room.
Okay.
When he sat down there. I thought that was cool. I just didn't want to forget that.
Is that who that was?
That was Roy Orbison, yeah.
did he have like the sunglasses on? It looked
Yeah.
like Roy with the.
Yeah.
I
I thought it was Johnny Cash.
I thought it was David Bowie.
Oh, no.
I
Yeah.
swear to God.
Really?
3 different people.
Yeah.
I had no idea who that was. And I'm sitting there watching like, who is that?
Who is that? That was Roy Orbison, yeah.
I thought it was one of the Ramones.
This
Think
tells me
Joey
I
Ramone.
need to get a bigger television.
Yeah. For real, yeah. I mean, I guess because I knew that actually by looking stuff up about the movie, maybe if I wouldn't have known that, I wouldn't have. But Roy Orbison has a look. I don't
Sure.
know, I could see where maybe I have to go back and look at it.
I think
see if I can
don't
see the.
keep saying look a lot. You shouldn't be saying that when you talk about Roy Orbison. It's cool.
Yeah, it's true.
Is he blind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he was blind. That's right.
Yeah.
Like Sammy Davis Jr.'s
Yeah,
one
they-
eye.
When guys are walking around with just sunglasses on at night,
Usually they're.
yeah, it's not because they're cool.
I forgot
Well,
that
unless
he
it's my
was
dad.
blind.
Yeah.
Completely forgot about that.
Our dads did, but
My dad did.
yeah, that was high end stuff there.
sports.
Oh, speaking of Roy Orbison, it was Frank Sinatra that sang 3 Coins in a Fountain.
How about that?
I didn't know
It's
that.
old Frankie.
That's a Frank Sinatra.
Yep.
Roy Orbison.
You ain't never met no Frank Sinatra.
I like Roy Orbison. A lot of his songs, but I like a band
you want.
when they had it was him, George Harrison.
The Traveling,
Traveling
Wilburys.
Wilburys.
Yes, that's a great album.
Tom Petty.
Yep.
That's a good album.
Anything at
So anyway,
all.
I'm sorry.
You
I wanted to
got
go
it.
back to that painting though, but then we're past the hotel now. We're on our way back to Chicago.
Yeah, we're going to Chicago. We're hopping in the beat ass vehicle.
After they beat the shit out of the hotel, so they're stuck in the snow, right? And they're trying to rock their way out, and he hits it in reverse and just blasts through the wall of the hotel.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's get the fuck out of here. So
Yeah,
they do.
this car that they're in that has no like missing doors. It has no roof.
It is four
it's
wheels and a steering wheel.
4 wheels and a steering wheel.
Although surprisingly, the radio works. And I only know that the radio works because they get pulled over by that state trooper who ends up impounding their car.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
Who's that?
Michael McKean.
Michael McKean. There you are. Mr. Green.
Yeah.
Mr. Green from
yeah,
Clue.
From Clue.
Turn it to 11.
He was also in Laverne and Shirley, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
He was Lenny,
Lenny
not to be confused with Squiggy.
and Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap. There
Never
you go.
saw it.
I haven't either. But I
You've
just
never
know
saw
he's in
Spinal
it.
Tap.
No,
never
You've
seen
never saw Spinal Tap.
I've never seen Spinal Tap.
Me neither.
You got to be
I
joking
swear
me.
to God and Sonny Jesus, I've never seen it
How?
by not watching it.
That's a great movie.
Inadvertently, just never watched
No, you
it.
being like into music, like
Of course.
Zeppelin and stuff. Like I thought that. Yeah.
I've clearly
Spinal
wasted
Tap is
my
a-
time. I've clearly wasted my life.
Yeah.
We should have not we should.
not life,
Have
not
we,
life,
have
but
we
it's one of
considered? Have we considered making This Is Spinal Tap one of the movies for us to do a podcast?
I'd be open to it because I've never seen it.
and McKean be like, you should have a set of 11.
It was on the amp. I know
Yeah.
that part.
Yeah.
I never saw the movie though.
He's like, no, some people play on 10. He's like, we play on 11.
Yeah. It was like a documentary. Though.
It is. It's
Yeah.
a documentary of a made up band.
I need to watch this movie.
Mhm.
It'll make you giggle. It's funny.
So they get pulled over. Car gets impounded. There was no way for them to avoid being grounded. as they're walking around or hanging out, deciding what they're going to do next, of course, Dell once again saves the day with his smooth talking, silver tongued, deviled ways. He convinces a truck driver to give him a ride to Chicago. Right now, but the truck driver's like, well, no, but he's real antsy or weird.
You don't like people in the cab,
sitting in the cab, so you got to go into the trailer, which happens to be a refrigerated trailer. Now it's carrying, which I had noticed, Ashkenagan cheese.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's a fake brand, right?
It's not real.
I
don't think it's real.
I can't say I've ever heard of it. Maybe it's big in the Midwest.
It might be.
I don't know, but
I'm sure it's banging if it
I know
is.
on the
you don't know what's going up in like Chicago, Wisconsin,
it's true,
Michigan area. They got some weird stuff. Just like we got
cheese,
like Middlesworth. People, like if they said Middlesworth, like is that a real?
What is that?
Is that a real chip place? Or?
What is it? Look, we've got chips and we've got
chips and pretzels.
We got chips and pretzels here in Pennsylvania. Maybe they just got a lot of cheeses out there.
I'm sure. Right. Yeah,
they do.
But oh my gosh, it's Ashkenagan. All right. So now Neil and Dell are but a local commuter train ride away from home. They've been through quite an adventure, but all good things must come to an end. They depart as friends. It's time for each of them to return to their respective families. Or is it? So yeah, it was, I mean, that's a touching part, like when they split, right? So Neil's on the train just alone.
Thinking about
the past 2 days of an adventure he had with this random stranger, you know, the ups and downs, peaks and valleys and whatnot. And it's during this time, right, where he's starting to pick up on some of the things that Dell had said, especially like that one thing I pointed out during the diner when Dell said, you know, I haven't been home in years. So, you know, he gets this, you know, he's actually worried about this guy now.
Thinking about it, yeah.
Like something is definitely awry. Dude goes back to the train station to find Dell just sitting there alone. Dude, this just sucks. And this is
his trunk and
dude, this just
alone.
Was he drunk?
No,
his trunk.
His trunk. He's drunk.
The only things that he had in life.
That's true. He finds out that Dell is homeless and his wife Marie had been dead for 8 years.
Yeah. So like I told you, I didn't remember this movie really at all. I didn't know the storyline. And this actually made me tear up a little bit watching the movie. It kind of got to me emotionally. Yeah. And maybe it's too because John Candy's dead and I'm equating it to like that he's gone. And I'm thinking of Steve Martin and John Candy as friends when he's on the train. And he's thinking about his friend.
Sure.
And I'm equating it to real life, like John Candy's gone. And yeah, I don't know, it got me in a way, but also that sympathy feeling for somebody like, oh my God, this poor guy was going to be alone on the holidays and all that.
Not just alone, like he had nowhere.
He had nowhere to go. And it just hit me like, and this is a great movie for Thanksgiving. You should be thankful for what you got and treat people well. And I mean, I think that's where this movie at the end really got me. I'm like, what a great movie. What a great message. Like, be tolerant of people, you know, and
just because somebody's a little bit different doesn't mean they're a bad
Everybody
person.
has good redeeming qualities. You just got to find it.
Could not agree more. We've talked about this movie in varying podcasts we've done. I end up getting teary every time at that part.
Yeah.
No, it's every time you go away, walking into the house is where it gets me.
So maybe, but I don't like the version they use in the movie.
Wait, which part, Matt?
Every time you go away.
Oh, well, that I was still like at that.
Because when they open the door and like the kids and everybody's happy and his wife comes down the steps.
Yeah, that ending. Well, we'll get there.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey man, so he hasn't been home
jump the
in years.
gun here.
He again hasn't been home in years. Wife's been dead for 8 years. He's homeless. So, I mean, we just now basically fast forward here to the end where Neil and Dell are next scene. You know, they're just walking the baggage in Dell's trunk down the street, down to walking to Neil's house. I mean, they get there and doors open wide. Holy shit, Dad's home. Oh my gosh, it's the greatest time ever. And we meet his extended family, like his parents, his in-laws, his whatever, his own kids. And now, you know, there's his wife, Susan, who's losing her fucking mind now that Neil's finally made his way home.
Yeah. So that part where they're kissing and all that, like, I get it. Like, they haven't seen each other, but I almost felt like it was uncomfortable in front of John Candy. Like, I felt pity on him because like his wife's gone and here's this guy like
all up on his wife.
I got
and
my
happy
kids
family.
here.
Yeah.
Here's my wife. Let me like make out with her in front of you. To me, it just seemed like I could see like hugging her. I don't know. I just felt like more bad for John Candy, and he ended it right there.
And you see it. You see John Candy that he's wrenching his hat in his hands. Like you can see like it's at that very moment that John Candy or Dale Griffith had never realized how much he missed his wife that much, like until that moment.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like that. I think that was just part of like the heartwarming ending of the movie. Not like maybe there's some cuckolding or something later.
Right? No. I don't.
They get Dell involved because he's so lonely.
I would have liked to seen.
You're on the bottom, Dell.
It was a perfect movie. I think it was great.
Yeah,
and I really enjoyed it, and I'm so glad you recommended it. But I would have liked to seen them at dinner together, and then maybe showing them. Oh, and then in the coming years, we did this every year. It was a tradition, almost like a happy ending for John Candy.
Sure. Maybe Dell moved on, got a new wife.
Yeah, something like that.
So what happened to Dell?
Got a dog.
That's what you wonder. Yeah.
Yeah, what happened to Dell? Maybe we should come up with that, like the origin story, and then a sequel.
Yeah,
to Planes,
I just would have liked
Automobiles.
this. I mean, like I said, I thought it was a great movie. I really, really, really enjoyed it.
Yep.
That left me kind of bummed a little bit. Happy but bummed.
Yeah.
Wait for coming up in the next week. Just put on any channel, like you'll see it just rerunning.
Dave, I'm with you, man. Like you are left wanting at the end of that movie, and in my case, I just felt so bad for Dell, like just so bad. Like God, that was. So what? Steve Martin made his way home. Good job.
Yeah, big deal.
You're the one with the great wife and the great house and the great kids and the great family. What happened to poor Dell?
Maybe he moved in the basement.
He's just standing in the doorway and did what? Start a podcast.
Yeah. That
No,
awesome.
they got him a job. Maybe Steve Martin got him a job.
I would have liked to see that.
Yeah, but you don't like these movies are made like that. A lot of '80s movies, you're like, I wonder what happened. That's what your mind plays out. No, that's for you to decide.
But it's Thanksgiving, just show him passing the plates around.
I agree.
Hey, here, Del, like
Maybe Dell robs them the next morning and kills everybody.
That's a
in the
whole
house.
other movie.
Yeah,
Or ate them.
or ate them. Yeah, he's a big dude.
Based on that neighborhood, maybe he joined the Wet Bandits.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that house, I believe, was only a block away from Home Alone.
Speaking of which,
Wait. God damn it.
No, that's what happened
Sorry,
at the end of the movie.
I'll get overweight. But
Speaking of that,
before I go. All right. So did anyone notice that when Susan hears Neil and Dell arrive, like her look of the look of relief on her, like it looked like she had been bawling her eyes out, or she's just about to bawl her eyes out, or she basically like she just found out that the doctor found a cure for her kid's cancer or some shit. Like this look that this washes over her face is, to me, it was just too much.
She was glad he was home because she would have to gotten a job because maybe they didn't have much money on
true.
Yeah,
it's true.
Living in that
She was
house.
like, I hope he gets home soon because we really can't afford this.
When we talk about how much
The life insurance he didn't have the top policy at the time.
No, maybe he did.
I'm sure he did. Yeah.
We talk about how much was cut from this movie. So when we think of the awkwardness of that moment, like when again there's Neil and Susan and they're all kissy husband and wifey, and there's poor Dell. When Dell walks in and Neil says, "I'd like you to meet my friend here." Here's Dell. Susan says, "Hello, Mr. Griffith," and his response was, "Hello, Mrs. Page."
Almost like they knew each other.
Yeah, why Dell? Why Mrs.
Because
why not Susan?
They're showing that the friendship, the relationship that those two have made, like she's probably heard so much about him in their quick phone conversations, or she feels like she knows him already because they went through so much together with her husband being with him. So they were. I dug that part. Like they were kind of showing that they knew each other somehow.
Good point. Bringing up all that extra footage, which I forgot about. We brought up in the beginning. Maybe there's a lot more that they show us, and if we see the extended cut, that would explain a lot of that. And maybe there's a scene at the dinner table.
Hey guys, can you wrap it up?
Oh, wait, we're not done yet.
It's a wrong podcast.
Gosh, come on, we still got to do some facts.
This movie it gets you down. It leaves you questioning at the end. If only there was something uplifting that we could talk about.
Fun facts.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That was. I thought it's time to wrap it up already.
Yeah, what a relief.
Yeah, jeez.
Thank God.
All right, shoot. What do you got?
Did you know? Now, this is according to the internet, which could be wrong, but this is the favorite film of their own of John Candy and Steve Martin that they were in, of all the ones that they've done. Now, who knows? This is all online.
Yeah,
could be made up.
I did hear that John Candy was having like a little difficulty with like breathing and stuff.
Oh, real? Well,
so they moved a bunch of like equipment to like his hotel room that they were staying at. They spent like
weights and stuff and all that.
Yes, weights. They brought a treadmill and all this stuff to his room to keep him like kind of get him to work out and in shape a little bit because he was rather have he was having difficulty with a lot of the scenes and
He
stuff.
was a fat dude.
Yes.
Big dude, yeah.
You got to watch
So-
your diet. Look, and Chris Farley went the same way.
Yeah.
They,
So that,
didn't, they didn't use it though.
yeah, that's what he said. Steve Martin said he didn't touch it one time.
It's hilarious. Let's see. Oh, fun fact. The parts of Neil and Del, respectively, were originally intended for Tom Hanks and John Travolta.
Wow.
I did read that.
Hanks was busy filming Big at the time, and Travolta was considered box office poison at the time.
Yeah,
I thought Big was a
before,
great movie, though. I would have stayed with Big.
before Pulp Fiction and all that.
Yeah, that by far and away resurrected his career.
Do you have any other mystery cast member or possible cast members?
I do not.
Okay,
Go
I
for
don't.
it.
I just don't want to take any from anybody.
Dude, jump in.
So there again, internet. Who knows? Rick Moranis for the role of Neil. John Goodman was considered for Del. Here's some more for Del. Dudley Moore, Bill Murray, or Robin Williams. And lastly, for Neil, Chevy Chase or Michael Keaton. Which did you say one of them?
I did not.
Yeah.
I could definitely see Rick Moranis as Neil,
Neil, yeah.
for sure. Like his basically he'd be playing a role like he did in Honey I Shrunk the Kids or something.
Yeah.
Just a straight dude.
Yeah.
I could definitely see Michael Keaton doing it, and I would love to see Michael Keaton get pissed off at Del.
Michael Keaton would have been good.
Yeah.
Oh, those are good thinkers.
It would have been good. I think all these would have been good. Yeah, I mean, Dudley Moore.
I'm glad that Del did not go to Bill Murray.
Yeah.
No.
There's a point at which he just gets so annoying. Like for example, Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
But
I'm sorry,
after a while-
not Groundhog Day, the wrong one. What About Bob?
Oh, I love What About
That's a
Bob?
good movie.
So great movie. It's hilarious, but there are some points where I want to reach through the television and strangle him.
Don't hassle me. I'm local. He has that on the shirt.
Precisely.
I want that shirt.
Let's see. Oh, we were talking about the song earlier. So Every Time You Go Away was originally written and recorded by Hall & Oates.
Oh, for real?
It is included on their 1980 album, Voices.
Was that Maneater on there too?
I can't
Was
say
No, that
after?
was the H2O. Was Maneater.
Damn, you know your shit on that.
Dang.
My dad grew up with a huge Hall and Oates guy.
I mean,
Blue Eyed Soul.
Dude, that's a fantastic duo, those two. Although it's really the Daryl Hall show.
Right.
Like Oates is just along for
He's
the
just
ride.
kinda-
Oates is a good he's a good rhythm guitarist.
Sure
he
is.
plays his
He's
guitar
the
and
one-
he has good background vocals.
Sure does.
Oates is the one that looks like Baba Booey, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is correct.
And then Daryl has the thing now, Daryl's house.
Daryl's basement. Yeah, Daryl's
Daryl's
house.
basement,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I think you're right.
I think
Daryl's
Daryl's
house.
house.
I don't think they do that anymore. I think he got rid of
They're
the
bringing it
house.
back.
Are they?
P.S. The episode with CeeLo Green.
Oh yeah.
God, don't sleep on that if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I saw that one.
It's so good.
I have to check that out. 'Cause
No,
I
but
like
all of his things are good. Like whenever he gets weird guests on sometimes too. You're like, who's this guy? And they play really well.
Oh hell no! Who's that bitch? the song now. All right, so Daryl Hall and John Oates did that in '80.
Both from Pennsylvania,
Then singing around.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Philly.
Philly. They were like, if you watch Rocky, you see these guys singing around a fire,
Yeah, yeah.
50-gallon drum with fire
Yeah.
coming out of it. Yeah, that's what they would do.
Yeah, that was that song in Rocky. It was like, don't take me back.
Papa. Yes.
Take me back.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's George and Flea.
Flea, yeah, with the shades on.
Yeah.
So the cover, I'm sorry, the cover that became the most popular single, the like if you ever hear it on the radio, that one was done by Paul Young, and that was on his 1985 album, The Secret of Association. The version you hear in the movie was recorded by a group called Blue Room.
Oh, is that why it was different?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was different. I was gonna say I didn't recognize the voice. I knew the song,
It
but
was some
I didn't,
chick.
Yeah, I didn't recognize
It was
the
garbage version in the movie. I wish they would have used the
Hall and Oates.
either the Hall & Oates or the Paul Young version.
Yeah, it's like Kids
Paul
Bop.
Young was the one they played on the radio a lot.
Correct.
Yes.
It's like
correct.
Kids Bop. You know, where they take him songs and redo it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's no good.
What was the one like? It wasn't me. What was the one you showed us?
Oh
one
yeah,
time?
the
It was
Kids Bop version of Outcast.
Outcast. Yeah.
Sorry, Miss
Sorry,
Jackson.
Miss Jackson.
See,
Yeah.
that shit's terrible.
That's bad.
I think that's an abusive. Those parents should be held to task for that. Whatever.
You said the movie was going to be longer. There was a strip club scene or whatever they had to
Oh,
take
for
out.
real?
Yeah, they said it was a little much.
Too racy. Well, it's
Yeah.
already rated R. I mean,
Yeah, but they said it was a little too much, so they had the strip club that they cut out.
I'd like to see that.
That was getting a little frisky.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So talking about the music in this, so originally Elton John was asked to compose the theme song for this, and
It was never released, right? Or they
no,
said something-
he had it all completed and good to go. And then there was an issue with like who controlled the like the rights to it and who would get, if it was on records and whatever else. So they had an issue and he didn't release it. So it's never been released. But he had the theme song done and ready to go. I think it was Polygram was the record company Elton John was with, and he couldn't work it out. Then you talked about the Paul Young's Every Time You Go Away. That was used instead. So yeah, interesting.
That was it's a good choice of song. I just didn't like the artist that covered it, the Blue Room.
Blue Room, don't know them.
So we were talking about the cut scene with the strip John. There was another cut scene, a subplot of the movie that involved Neil's wife thinking that he was having an affair.
Oh, wow.
And was just out on some kind of dalliance with this girlfriend of his someplace. Again, for days on end. Look, honey, I'm on my way. Like,
I'm on my way home.
What do you mean you can't come home? What do you mean you're not home yet? You tell me you can't find a car or a train or something that can't get you home?
Can't get home. You can get...
Like, really, what's going on here, Neil? Like, that was a whole subplot that was cut, and I think it's actually that leads to the look on her face at the end when he gets home. Like
so there you go. Then,
like, baby, the train broke down. Like, what?
Yeah.
The rental car was not there.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. But it's a movie.
Yeah,
that's
and
right.
It's fun.
So I don't know if this is true or not, as well as most of these are, but it says, when Dell he says, "Turn me over, I'm done."
Yep.
And he's talking about that. He was quoting St. Lawrence, who made the same joke as he was being martyred.
St. Lawrence?
St. Lawrence is
He has his own club in Stilton, PA.
Yeah, St. Lawrence does have his own club.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good job, St. Lawrence.
It said St. Lawrence is known as the patron saint of comedians.
Yeah.
Is that for real?
Well, yeah, he was in Bad Boys 2.
Yeah, St. Lawrence.
Yeah, St. Lawrence.
He had his own show.
He did. Martin. Yeah, that was a good one. Matt, you got anything?
Oh, no,
I don't want
Matt.
to step all over you.
I like
No.
Matt, good catch on that. He owns a club in Steelton. That was a good one.
Yes, he does. A lot of people go there.
So again, on the cutscenes, and I would love to have seen this in its full 3-hour plus glory.
It's in a vault somewhere, they said.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't have the keys to that vault, but what I do know, another scene that was cut that would have explained so much. There was the scene that was cut was a pizza delivery to their first hotel room.
Keep the change.
So the delivery dude brings a pizza and the beer. That's where the beer came from. So the pizza delivery comes and Dell gives him $1 tip, like $1. And it is because he gets shorted that $1. I'm sorry. So the pizza delivery guy was in fact the thief that came in
later on
and stole their shit because he'd only given him $1 tip.
Oh, that's ignorant.
That would have been great for them to include that. So also fun fact, the guy that plays the thief that you see in the movie, also a pizza delivery guy that was cut. He was in Summer School.
Oh, I love that movie. That's one I want to do.
He was Dave.
Chainsaw and Dave.
Yeah.
They're the best.
Yeah.
Do the dance for me, baby. And
That's
Leatherface. I love
What year was that?
87, 88.
Where the parents come, they're all like dead.
Yeah. It's the best. I
Yeah.
love that movie. I want to do that one.
But it was the girl from Cheers.
Kirstie Alley.
Kirstie
Yeah,
Alley.
and Mark,
She's back when she was attractive.
Alas,
and lovely.
she's dead.
yeah, she is dead.
She is sorely missed. But dude, when she was on Cheers, oh my God,
So
she was
hot.
so hot.
She was super hot.
God damn.
Mark Harmon's in that too.
Mark Harmon, that's back when he had like a career.
My doctor, who's since retired, looked just like Mark Harmon.
Huh.
It was crazy.
Identical.
So I got one last one
Oh,
here.
one last fun fact.
So, we talked about the house that he lived in. It was like, it very much reminded me of the Home Alone house.
It was, same neighborhood.
It must be in these Illinois, Chicago suburbs. These houses look all the same.
Like $10 million home today.
Yeah.
If not more.
So the house they used for Neil's family home was in Kenilworth, Illinois, and the Home Alone house was on Lincoln Avenue in Winnetka, I guess you say. I don't know.
We're trying.
It's
You got it right.
one town over, so they're basically like Middletown, High Spire. You know what I mean?
I said one block over earlier. It is one town. You are correct.
One town
Is it a
over.
town? I thought it was a block
That's
also.
the neighboring town. All right, I got one more quick one,
Yep.
and then I want to close with a group discussion.
Oh.
So this movie was in fact rated R because in that 1 minute scene
Tirade. Yeah.
with the tirade with the rental lady, the word fuck was used 19 times.
19 times.
19 times.
One more quick fun fact.
Shoot.
That big chest that Dell carried around the whole time, that chest that they had throughout the movie, there was actually nothing in it.
For real.
Never mind.
Is that for real or no?
Yeah, because they're filming with it. And I carry a chest full of.
They're not going to make these guys carry 100 pounds.
Yeah.
That might go against the Screen Actors Guild.
It was supposed to be a funny fact, but
Funny fact.
Dave ruined the whole thing. Like, really?
Really?
Like,
I
what was
thought there
supposed to be in
something
there? Had to have been something.
Just for realism when they're carrying it.
Yeah, when they're carrying it. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
All right, so we talked on this before, and I guess we don't need to go too deeply into it, but like, what are your takeaways from this movie? Let's, like Dave, especially just having recently seen this after so long.
Right. Like I said, I didn't remember it at all. I kind of vaguely remember the airport scene. Like, kind of sparked a little bit of memory, but this movie at that time when I was that young, I didn't really mean much to me, I guess. As an adult now, dealing with families and having a family and all that, like, I can relate, I guess, more to the characters in it. And what I took away from it is like what I said earlier. Be thankful for what you have, treat people, which I do all these things anyhow, but this movie just kind of reinforces all that. It makes you remind you to, like, you never know what people are going through. Treat them with respect and dignity. Try to be patient. Try to be, give people the benefit of the doubt. And that's just kind of a motto that, way I try to live my life. And what I took away from that movie is just kind of reinforces all that. And I thought it was a very touching movie and really kind of hard hitting. And I mean, it's because they're around the same age which actually, like I said, Candy was like in his 30s, but they feel like they're around our age.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And yeah, just really took that away from it.
Very nice.
Matt, any thoughts?
I don't know. Following St. Dave there.
That was good. Not St. Lawrence, but St. Dave.
St. Dave.
Yeah.
St. Lawrence, own club, mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
I think it's a fun yet serious type. It's a good holiday movie. I think it's something, like I said, it's on a lot of channels. If you haven't seen this, like Dave was saying, he might have seen it, but didn't remember it. Zap, you're saying it's one of you're the one that brought it up, like, great movie to cover. I enjoyed seeing, like, these guys work together, the friendship they had in the movie, just from, it's kind of like being forced to be friends, but they had similarities, yet they were completely different. I like what you did with I like your thoughts on this, but I just thought it was a good movie. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
It was great.
Yeah. So certainly I love this movie. I happen to pick it for this. It's just a great holiday to bring everybody together. Great movie to watch. I think it's about truly the human condition, to the extent that, when you're stuck with some one person, despite how you may or like them or not like them, you're going to strike up a conversation. You're going to end up talking to them. It's just what people do.
Humanity. And
I think it's about, no matter who you are or how big your family might be, I think as life goes on, family doesn't necessarily need to be blood per se. I think family is whatever you make of it. Your friends, I don't know, people you might help out here and there, people you just might know. Yeah, that's my takeaway from this. Like, maybe that's just me being an only child. Didn't come from a large family, so I know that just as years have gone on, like, I'll, just if I'm clinging to groups or if I'm hanging out with certain groups for a long enough time, they are like family to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just like Dell in this case, I mean, he didn't have shit, and at the end, he's welcomed, open arms into Neil and Susan's family. So, in this time,
full circle.
Yeah. In this time of Thanksgiving, this is really, like you had both said, this is a movie that really reminds you what you should be thankful for, no matter what that is to you. So yeah, that's my takeaway from this one.
Yeah, it's not my Porsche or my $1 million home. It's like friends and family.
That's right.
That's the stuff that matters most.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this movie, I think, reminds you of that in the end. That's what I got out of it. But I don't know, do we do the return burn, or, like, to me, I don't know.
I think we ended on, like, a nice.
Yeah, because this is on TV all the time, so I guess you wouldn't really have to rent it.
No,
It's like Christmas Story.
Yeah.
You're not renting it; you're just gonna watch it.
I say we ended it how we do now. Just hey guys, enjoy your Thanksgiving holiday and watch this movie. Enjoy that time with your friends, family,
and be thankful we gave you an episode.
Yeah,
that's right.
We'd even be more thankful if you send some money our way.
We hopefully are going to get that 5-star rating.
There it is. Give it to him, Zach. He's always got to do it.
Look, we're doing this for nothing. Which is, look, it would really help. Give us that 5-star rating, and not for nothing. If you don't want to give us a 5-star rating, shoot us an email as to why.
Why not?
Shoot,
Yeah.
tell
Any
us.
problems you have or something you would like to hear.
What could we do better?
Right. For sure. Written review too would help.
Yeah.
But I guess that's it for now. You guys got anything else?
No, I'm getting teared up now.
I got one last one. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving. That's
God
right.
bless you all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Enjoy your meals. All right. So I guess that's it for now. We'll catch you where?
On the flip side,
If we don't see you sooner, we'll see you later.
happy Thanksgiving and peace. Thanks for listening to The Vintage Cinema Review in the Old Dirty Basement. If you dig our theme music like we do, check out the Tsunami Experiment. Find them on Facebook. Their music is streaming on Spotify and Apple, and where great music is available.
You can find us at Old Dirty Basement on Facebook and Instagram, and at Old Dirty Basement Podcast on TikTok.
Peace.
We Audi 5000.